B-Rock and Benny J. All about the front row. Who will get the jump? Lights are out. Green is on. Hallett. Benny J slides up to the lead in turn number 2. B-Rock fires a shot back in turn 3. 1 down, 9 to run. Ben Atkinson Jr. Brock Hallett run 1-2. Glenn Sutherland, Cale Quinlan outside looking in. Not for long is Bobby Daly. Gee, Bobby tossed one in. Slides back up to the turn 4 wall. Now he'll set sail again after that 4th position. Ben Atkinson Jr. What a moment for this kid. The round 4 winner from 2022. Back to some very good form, Teagues, and he'll run with this one.
Yeah, stellar opening laps here from Benny J. Out in the race lead, just picked his line perfectly and got past Brock Hallett. A big run, picking off the Grand Annual Sprint Car Champion from 2022. Glenn Sutherland on screen runs back in 3rd place ahead of Cale Quinlan in the NT15 car. Back to your race leader and Benny Atkinson Jr. just already on some lap traffic and looking to pick him off nice and early, which puts some good distance between himself and the Q5 of Brock Hallett. Halfway home is Benny Atkinson, and he's got a good bit of distance between himself and Hallett.
Gee, stepped up right upstairs. Went by Swan, went by Ling, mind you. Brock Hallett did likewise. Jeez. Oh, he's... Oh. I just saw him blowing into turn 1. It was like, gee, he's in hot there. Oh, and just caught the right rear, and we are red. That is your race leader, Ben Atkinson Jr. in turn number 1, and we are red. Gee. You know when you can just feel it before you see it. Come on, everybody. He's jumped out of the 2D. How about it for Ben Atkinson? Gee, you'll be disappointed with that. He knows it. Doesn't need anyone to tell him. Did everything right on that opening lap. Got himself by the classic champion, Brock Hallett. And he just looked so much in charge. And just that one error in turn 1. And just like that, his night has gone south very quickly.
Yeah, and hard luck here for another local as well. We can just see, I just looked and I could see someone climbing out of their car, and it's Cale Quinlan, I should say, over here on the exit of turn number 4. So some heavy wing damage there. So not sure if maybe put the car up and over with the reds coming on.
Van Ginnigan here in Darwin as well, and he was just telling me that when the red was on, I believe the V8 may have checked up, and that left the NT15 with nowhere to go and just cartwheeled over the top. Let's have a look at the replay here in a moment. So this is Benny, just drove it in, then it got a bounce and just caught the right rear. And from there, he's a passenger. Gee, that reminds me of Blake Walsh's ride last week. You could see Brock Hallett while running second. Yeah, and that, well, there may not have even been contact. He was trying to slide up as the red. I know he was trying to check up. That was the Cale Quinlan incident in turn number 4. Oh, how do you digest it all, Teagues? This is the thing about this game. It is a bruising sport at the best of times. Gee, you feel for Benny. He knows how much that heat race win meant. Go to the dash redraw, get yourself on the front row or 2. Where you finish the dash is where you'll start the main. And just like that.
It's really very much a case of what could have been for the 2D. It's one of those times where I really don't want to put the microphone in front of this guy, but I know that he's going to want to let everybody know. Mate, that's a tough one.
Yeah, it is, honestly. I know Brock got me on the start there, and I slid him into 1 and 2 and took off with it, I guess. I never really saw him after that. And I guess Dad was telling me the heat before, just be really aggressive on the top, and that's what I was trying to do. And I guess things you learn with this sport is once you're leading for 3/4 of a heat, you start backing it down and just try not to pound the top so hard. But, you know, when you got someone like Brock behind you, they're always on the money, so you want to be always a step ahead of them. But just silly things like that. We had a car that we could have gone on 1 tonight. We put ourselves in the best position, started off the front row of our heat, got to the lead, could have put ourselves in a good spot in the dash, and now we're going home to build a new one.
It's a brutal learning curve.
Yeah, it is, honestly, and I'm sick of learning. I want to go out there and win and put this 2D up the front, and we can. We got the crew. My crew's awesome. You know, my dad's got plenty of knowledge. Our car's been fast every time it hits the track. You know, we're always on the pointy end of the 90% of the cars that are here. So it's just these things that really keep putting you down in the ground. You know, you start finding some really good pace, and then this stuff happens. So we're going to come back fast. We've got a better car at home, and hopefully we come back tomorrow night. It's the last night, so we'll try and do what we did last year and give it one good one.
Yeah, that's exactly the right segue. That's what we saw. We saw him at his best this time last year on that last night. That's when we really saw the best of him. You can see the way that the wing has been peeled off there. Matt Dumsney coming in to lend a hand with the crew. You can see Domain Ramsey and some of his crew here coming in to help. So it looks like there's a bit of a hustle happening, which surprises me. That usually indicates that they think they can bring the car back. But the way that I saw Benny Sr. talking before, I thought he was giving the impression there was a bent chassis. So we'll keep you up to date with that. Can Benny Jr. come back? We'll find out.
And he's refired, Mitch Wormel. Gee, this kid was exciting. If you've only just joined us, Ben Atkinson Jr. was leading his respective heat race. Got to the mid-race distance, did everything right to go by Brock Hallett. Had the... Stephen Ling just out of the push vehicle, just getting a quick confirmation on the Marcellus & Sons 2D. That rear nerf, heavy damage on it. It should still sustain a push. So Lingy pulled up just to catch a quick word. Looks like he's set as Klasner and Tim Farrell roll on by. Somewhat of a relief. You always get a little nervous, Pecky. You see that push vehicle driver jump out, especially for one of your hometown heroes, and Ben Atkinson Jr. fires here.
Back live, we just see the damaged rear end. The tail tank Nerf bar just pushed in on the Ben Atkinson Jr. 2D. Just gets a push start. That was what Stephen Ling was just checking in on a little bit earlier to make sure that it was okay to push start that car. Of course, the rear Nerf bar protecting that tail tank where the methanol fuel sits. Don't want to push that in too far.
Gee, that is a solid top four. It'll be a tough one to crack.
Yeah, just having a look a little bit further back in the field, and you can see a few cars running down that low side. Having a look at where Benny Atkinson Jr. is running. He's picked off a couple of spots. He moves back up to the top side, but Farrell down on the low side. Having a look underneath Stephen Loader. Good battle going on for 4th and 5th place. That's your final transfer positions. Loader, I think we could see Atkinson move his way through. There's plenty of laps left to run.
I didn't want to jinx it. I know you went there, but I was watching it with two eyes as well. Goes by Loader. Tim Farrell, that orange and black number 51. Here comes that all silver top wing. Gee, Benny J would bring the house down. The 2D goes to the outside out of turn number 2. Rips his way to a transfer spot. Boy, what a big time run this time. There's 5 to run. Still Mitch Wormel leads Prosser and Jason Pride. Gee, what a stirring run. Been very measured, very controlled. Tim Farrell's been bumped to 5th. Helter-skelter behind with Stephen Loader and also Adam Garwood. Oh, he shuts the door that time. Very classy as he goes by.
Drive for Atkinson. Mitch Wormel picks up the B main. Taylor Prosser across the line in 2nd. And from deep in the field, Benny Atkinson Jr. Jason Pride will round out the 4 cars.
Eagle to 2nd, Charge in 3rd. Williamson to 4th, 5th is Luke Dillon. Back then to Ben Atkinson. From deep in the B main, Ben Atkinson is back to position number 6. Boy, what could have been for this kid. Goodyear continues to lead.